How long should counseling last? I remember sitting in a continuing education class. A fellow graduate student said very confidently, to really help a client, therapy should last at least a year or more. Nobody disagreed. It sounded wise, serious, responsible. At some point in the past, I believed it too. After all, we are complex beings. Having been trained in the same tradition or model of therapy, it was the only and best way. I learned very early in my training, back in the late 2000s, during my graduate studies in a psychodynamic program. Part of how professors evaluate our work was this: did the client come back? Not just once, not twice, but multiple sessions, five at least, with the expectations that there would be more. If a client kept returning, it was taken as a sign that we were doing good therapy. And I don't say this to criticize my professors. They were sincere. They cared deeply about their students and their clients. But looking back now, I can see the unintended message that system sent. Length quietly became a proxy for effectiveness. Staying became the evidence of success. And without meaning to, therapists were trained to equate help with continuation, and clients were trained to believe that long-term therapy was simply the price of being human. Duration felt reassuring, but reassurance is not the same as freedom. And here in the Philippines, I often hear from people who are weighing the cost of counseling against its potential benefits, worried that starting therapy means committing to years of sessions they simply cannot afford. So many don't even book a first session. They assume my work is no different from the rest. The assumption is simple. People are complex, so change must be slow. And yes, humans are complex, but complexity doesn't automatically mean slowness. Sometimes it means we're aiming at the wrong thing. ACT, or acceptance and commitment therapy, changed how I understood this, because ACT doesn't try to fix people. It doesn't spend months trying to solve thoughts, erase emotions, or construct the perfect explanation for why someone is the way they are. I wasn't an ACT practitioner during the first decade of my work. I saw what often happened. Some clients stay for years. Every new challenge was handled one by one. Another issue, another explanation, another session. It was a bit like studying all the colors of a water fountain, like the ones in Okada or Las Vegas. Instead of understanding the few mechanisms that produced all those colors, the real shift came when I realized awareness doesn't produce lasting change, or awareness alone doesn't produce lasting change. ACT targets the very small set of processes that keep people stuck. As Kirk Strassel once explained, a water fountain is best repaired not by figuring out its colors, but by understanding the few core processes that generate them. ACT focuses on not your diagnosis, not your personality, not your past, but how you relate to your thoughts, feelings, and urges right now. When that relationship changes, behavior can change quickly, not because the problem disappears, but because the person is no longer trapped inside it. Many therapy models invest heavily in insight, coherence, and understanding. And insight can feel relieving, but relief is not the same as flexibility. You can fully understand why you're anxious, angry, or stuck, and still be completely controlled by it. Hack works faster because it doesn't require understanding everything first. It teaches practical skills like noticing what shows up inside you, stop the fight with it, moving toward what matters anyway. That's not a personality change. That's a skill shift. And skills can change faster than identities. When a client learns they can feel anxiety and still show up as a parent, feel anger and still speak with dignity, feel doubt and still take meaningful action, something fundamental changes. They stop waiting to feel better before living. So now, when I hear that therapy must take at least a year, I hear a deeper belief underneath it that people need to be fixed before they are allowed to live. ACT flips that completely. You live while things are hard. Some clients do stay longer, not because they're broken, but because life keeps happening. But many don't need a year to get unstuck. They simply need to stop wrestling with their inner world and learn how to carry it differently. Ironically, many people try to save money by choosing the cheapest option and end up paying far more in years of back and forth therapy, in emotional exhaustion, and in delayed living. What feels cheaper at the beginning can quietly become the most expensive choice of all. Once the right shift happens, time is no longer the main ingredient in therapy. Context is. At One Life Only Counseling Services, we don't work to fix you. We work to help you get going with your life. Our approach is short term for most people, not because life is simple, but because the right pivot changes everything. As Stephen Hayes writes in A Liberated Mind, real change begins when you pivot, not toward feeling better someday, but toward the life you want to live now. Maybe it's time not to defeat the monsters of your past, but to stop letting them decide how small your life becomes and see how far life can fulfill you when you start living it now. That's all, folks, for now. Thanks for joining me at this time and appreciate your sticking by until the last slide and hope to see you on the next video. Please visit my website, onelifeonly.net, like and subscribe. Have a good day. Thank you.